Hello, 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 my beautiful, beautiful, powerful listeners. It's time for another Powerful Inc. Startup Story episode. Today, I'm speaking with Leah Stine, the CEO of Leah Stine Writing. And immediately I'm like sucked into Leah's world because she has been experimenting in the entrepreneurial world, which allowed her to um, remove the things that weren't going to work for her and get really clear and more committed to the things that she did want to do. So she started as a VA and did that and got, a little taste for the online world and putting it together, but knew that it was always going to be about the writing. And, you know, I've been pulsing over all of this like marketing and sales and type of stuff. And women like Leah can just peel that back and just remind us of the simplicity of getting out what it is that we want to say and make it easy for us and get ourselves out of our own way with that, which is amazing and a real skill, because I know for me, I'm still like, blah. So it's just beautiful to find these complementary elements to our businesses. And now Leah has three small kids that she homeschools, and has a partner who's away for a significant portion of the day. So she's doing a lot of this on her own. And this really kind of lights my fire too, because it's comparable to the situation that I'm in and that many of us are in as we're juggling all of the hats and all of the things. So just welcome to the show, Leah. I'm so excited to have you here and excited to talk about your business and you in your business and all the, stickiness of life and being pulled in the different directions.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to have the conversation.
Awesome. So, in our preamble, we were just talking a little bit about setting up the business so that it's something that works for you. So tell us, why don't you just take us on the origin story of what you were doing before to being VA to really niching down with writing.
Well, I started out, I was getting ready to put my son into school. He was 5-ish, I think. We were at the doctor and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to try homeschooling. I just, he's never going to see his dad. And the family dynamic is really big for me because, my family dynamic was really weird when I was a kid. And
Okay.
my parents are divorced and it happened young and they fought a lot. And it was just all that stuff. And I was like, I don't want that for our kids.
Okay.
And so, so I was like, all right, let's try homeschooling. I convinced my husband. He's like, okay, we'll try it for the first year. And here we are, almost 9 years later.
Wow.
But I realized that I wanted to be home, but I needed to be able to supplement his income. So I started doing, I had been working on my bachelor's degree online and in business management. And my other one was a toddler at the time. And I had been watching my friend's son, who was the same age as my little one at the time. And I was like, I can't do anything. And I can't do it all. So I stopped watching him when he was about 3, I think. And I dove into the online world. I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually work online. Yes. Who knew? Because this was like so long ago, it wasn't like a real thing to me. I'm like, you can't really find a job online. That's, And I did. I found it as I was like a marketing assistant VA for a real estate company, or it was like, I guess you'd call it an agency now. Like, so I did a lot of graphics and I did all their blog posts and their content and copywriting and things like that, making pennies doing this stuff. And then when I left there, I started working for somebody else who had an agency, and things kind of went south. She started kind of like, I'm pretty sure her business was going downhill and she didn't want to let me know that. So she started cutting my hours without any reason. And I was like, why are you doing this? And she's like, oh, well, because whatever. It was like weird stuff. Like she couldn't put her finger on it type of thing. So I was like, okay. So I started building my own business in the back end while I was still working with her. And even though I was a freelancer, I was not her employee.
Yeah.
She got very upset with me, and like literally the week before Christmas was like, you're done. I found out that you're starting your own business, whatever. So I panicked and I just jumped on it and I started my business out of panic and freaking out.
I'm trying to find a
So,
replacement.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying
Right
to
into the
figure out
fire. Poof.
what am I
Yeah.
going to do? I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I have
Okay.
to do this. And so I started doing all the same things I was doing because I knew them. I
Yeah.
was comfortable with them. I was confident in it.
Right.
But as the years progressed, it was probably 2 years in, I'm like, I'm not growing at all. And a lot of
Mhm.
it was because I was still only charging pennies.
Right.
And I didn't like what I was doing. I don't like posting on social media. I don't
Mhm.
like doing the back end build stuff. I was
Mhm.
if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out person.
Yeah.
And that didn't work for me. It
Yeah.
was stressful, constantly stressful. At the time I had
Right.
a kindergartner and a preschooler.
Right.
So I'm juggling that while trying to build my business, doing something that I don't even enjoy.
Yeah.
So while I like the writing end of it, real estate is it is what it is. There's only so much you can write about real
Yeah.
estate.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
not
hard
super
to get
sexy.
creative. Right. It's hard to get creative and not
Not a
have
lot
the
of
same,
stories. Yeah.
stuff over and over again. Like it's just in a
Mhm.
different way. So about 2 years ago, I started working on my mindset. I talked to a confidence coach. She was
Okay.
amazing. She was just offering a free 3 months or something like that to get started because she was getting started in her coaching business.
Okay.
And she helped me get over some things that I was dealing with from moving because we moved out of the city that we were living in and we're like
Okay.
almost 3 hours away from there now. And now we have like woods and acres and there was a lot of issues when we moved. I mean, it
Okay.
was literally just a one thing after another situation. Like
Oh, wow.
everything from my husband's catalytic converters being stolen in a hotel while we were moving
Oh my gosh.
to an ice storm on closing day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and then our septic needed replaced. Our well was contaminated. I was washing the baby with boiled water in the sink. Like it was,
Wow.
everything was just blowing up around me. And I'm like,
Blowing
something
up.
has to give.
Right. And you're trying to build a business and then all these things are cluttering up and the whole
Right. So
energy
I
and
like,
swirl.
yep. So I kind of just stopped my business. I was
Okay.
like, I had a couple, I still have a couple clients. Actually, I have one client from previous, but I had a
Sure.
couple at the time and I was just kind of doing their work
Hmm.
because we needed the money.
Yeah.
And I started really diving into why I wasn't getting more clients because I really didn't want it, and why all these things were happening, one after another after another. And I was
Yeah.
bringing it to myself. I was saying,
Yeah.
okay, what's next? What's going to happen next? What's going to
Yeah.
happen next?
Expecting sort
It
of
was
bad
expecting,
things.
right, instead of
Yeah.
expecting good stuff. And that's exactly what I got. One bad thing after another
So
for
this is
like
like
6 months.
an important element of when we make a decision and then we ask for something, but if we're not clear on what we want to receive, we're just going to receive all kinds of bullshit.
Yep.
So, that was really a wise move and lovely timing by the sounds of it, that this coach and you could get
Hmm.
together and support each other as startups, which like I call leverage, is so fantastic if we can collaborate and pool together to get the jet plane going. It can make the journey a lot easier. So you worked with her for 3 months, and as all of this
Yeah.
was going on, and it brought forth new clarity and blind spots and things.
Yes, and I realized that I wanted to really focus on the writing and I wanted to cut out all the other
Okay.
stuff that I don't like.
Hmm.
Because while I can do it, you're not going to be the
That's
expert at
right.
all things.
That's right. Nor
And she
should you
made me
be. Yeah.
realize that, I'm really good at what I do.
Okay.
And she also made me realize that people will pay me for what I do. Just
Right.
because it's easy for me,
That's right.
it doesn't mean it's
Yes.
not easy for them, or it doesn't
That's
mean it's easy
right.
for them.
Well, that's why we
So,
have like rocket scientists and like
right,
librarians and like financial and doctors
right.
and clerks and like all the different jobs, because we fit them, right?
Right, but it
That's
was
such.
weird because like it was such a like I don't I guess I just never put it two and two together that
Mhm,
hey,
mhm.
I'm really good at this. I couldn't grasp the fact that nobody else would be good. Somebody else
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to just write a paper or write a
yeah.
blog or write this or write that and just sit down and do it.
That this
You
would be
know?
your moneymaker. Okay. So
Right. I
was
never
writing
connect.
was Was writing in your spectrum at all, like when you first started in the online space?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I did all the writing, I did all the blogs, I
Right.
did the
And you're
newsletters, I
like,
did
this is awesome. I
the
love it. It's
postcards, and
fun.
but
Yeah.
I had to design them too.
Yeah.
And that's where the disconnect was, is me
Yeah.
designing it and writing it.
And so
Because
they were kind of one and the same, and you
right,
didn't see writing as its own type of thing
right,
that you could
exactly.
monetize.
Exactly. And it was just such a weird thing that I didn't realize it. And I, even still now, I'm like, I don't understand how somebody can't write this stuff, you know? But I mean, I get it, but I don't. Like, I mean, my kids
Yep.
hate writing. They hate it. It's like
Yeah,
their worst
sure.
subject on the planet. My son, who's 14, my oldest one, he's 14, he just turned
Yeah,
14.
yeah,
And it's like pulling teeth to get him to write his papers and
right.
to get him to cooperate and like,
Mhm.
okay, that needs to be capitalized. Come on, this is like
Yeah.
basics here,
It's like
you know?
breathing for you, but Greek,
Right.
Latin, alien for other people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm going to outsource their language arts because of it, because I am so
Right.
particular about it.
Right.
And I don't want to be, I don't want to
Yeah.
push them to be a writer when they're not a writer.
Yeah,
Um,
or like bring too much of your attachment or ability to it to
right.
them. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they don't need just their writing doesn't mean they need to write like me.
That's right.
Um, so so that's been a challenge. And then also I came to terms with the fact that I'm actually a copywriter, and
Uh-huh.
I never realized that, because
Yeah.
I always equated copywriting to selling.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because of some of my past things as a child, selling is off the board for me. Like anything that involves
Mm,
selling, I always felt that it had to be sleazy. Sleazy
yeah.
sales. I don't want anything to do with it. Stay away from me.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and within the past probably 18 months, I realized, you know what? I don't need, I am a copywriter, and I don't do it sleazy, and I don't manipulate anybody. And, you know, there are other ways to do it without doing that. I go into everything with, what, if they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it based on what it
Yes.
is, not based on
Yes.
what I'm trying to sell them,
Yes. We're
you
not
know?
manipulating through our
Right.
marketing. We're sharing the message that somebody is looking for.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. And
a
it's
grocery store is a grocery store. It has food. You need food. You come and buy it.
right.
And
And I never
whatever.
thought of it that way. And you
Yeah.
never, and like when I did, and when I really realized, man, I'm a copywriter and I
Mhm.
love doing it. And I love helping these other women
Yeah.
entrepreneurs get their message across. And
Yeah.
even if they're great writers, like I've come to terms with this recently, that even great writers,
Mhm.
like they could
Mhm.
have 5 books published,
Mhm.
but when it comes to writing their website copy or their
Yes.
email sequences, it's a different
Totally.
animal.
Yeah.
So they want to write it because they love to write.
Mhm.
But when I get in there, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things we can do to change this, to make it so it's more nurturing and converting.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
let's, go through it and do it. So I started offering copy editing because I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And, I've
And
had a
it
lot of
allows you
great
to get
feedback.
to know that person and get to know
Right.
how they're thinking and what they're trying to say. And then you can separate them a little bit from the message, because as business owners, we get very attached.
Hmm.
And like I get word diarrhea where, what's your elevator pitch, Mia? And I'm like, and I just like go stupid. Whereas when I sit with myself, I'm like, it's really clear what I'm trying to say here, but expressing it, sometimes we're just too close to it to see it
Yep.
very
Well,
clearly.
and a big thing that I've noticed a lot is that everybody wants to over explain.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to, I mean, I'm at fault with my own copy,
Hmm.
but like I can see it in other people's copy a lot
Totally.
easier.
Of course. Yeah, for
So
sure.
like the big thing I do is I cut down a lot of stuff
Yeah.
constantly. I'm
Yeah.
constantly cutting out the fluff. You don't need to be
Hmm. Hmm.
repetitive. They're going to read it, and they're going
Hmm.
to read it. They're more likely to read it if it's short and sweet than if it's
Yes.
long-winded and
Yeah.
repetitive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's
because
a big thing.
we want to like get the entire download out because there's so
Hmm.
much inside that we know will help them. So we got to tell them everything right away.
Yep.
But then it's very fire hosy, and then like you can overwhelm somebody and turn them off, right? So that's where,
Right. So
yeah,
that's why you want to tease them, not tease them. I
yeah,
say that
yeah,
in a authentic way. Like you want to give them enough that they
yeah,
want to get on a call with you.
that's right.
and so that you can actually talk and meet them, because you never know, they might click the button and you guys don't mesh.
Totally.
And
How
you're
many
like, oh
times does
God,
that
there's
happen?
not
Yeah.
working with this person. This person's going to be overwhelming and overbearing and crazy and all the things.
Yeah,
And, as an entrepreneur, you get to choose who you work with,
that's right.
which is amazing.
Yes. So you evolved your VA services. You
Mhm.
moved into the copywriting writing space and developed some offers and a bit of a branding around that. You want to share with us around how you navigated that process as like a business owner, sort of on the back end side, and to
Lots of Googling.
lots of Googling. This is a common theme. How do
Um,
I? How do you
yeah,
do? Yeah.
right. There's lots of Googling going on. I did a lot of trades.
Okay.
I would trade blog
Cool.
posts
Oh,
or
awesome.
some, email sequences or
Yeah.
other things for help. Um,
Cool.
so I had somebody help me with my active campaign recently,
Okay.
and I did a trade with her
Mhm.
because I was like, I don't have any idea how to set this up, and this sequence is not going out because it is not set up
Because
right.
of the tech part. Yeah.
So, so I do trades, which is helpful
Mhm.
because, they need what I have, I have,
Mhm.
vice
Oh,
versa.
totally.
It's
Totally.
nice to work with other people too, because then you get to know people.
Yeah.
So trades are a big thing. I'm actually working on a trade right now for a lead magnet with, I'm exchanging a lead magnet for a logo. So
Cool. Cool.
so
Well
as I
done.
grow, I keep doing the trades and I keep figuring
Awesome.
out what I want to tweak and what I don't want to tweak.
Yeah.
And one big, big, big thing that I started doing recently, I won a free coaching session with a couple coaches, and we did the session as a profit mapping session. And one of the big things I realized is that, just being me and, getting out there and
Mhm.
being myself and letting people get to
Mhm.
know me
Mhm.
is going to be the best way to attract people,
Yeah.
because I don't want to attract people that don't like me for who I am.
Yeah.
So like, why am I going to, I guess, pretend to be something I'm not? And I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I was doing that much, but I felt like, okay, I need to really get just all out. This is who I am. Take me as I am, or don't take me.
Mhm.
I mean, I had one
Mhm.
person comment on one of my posts. I had a package that I was offering, a launch package. I still have it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And in the picture, I'm wearing
Prices
jeans and a
on there.
t-shirt,
Okay.
leaning up against a tree in my yard. And she was like, with such a high ticket offer, I think you need to dress more professionally. Um, I love
Yeah.
jeans and t-shirt too, but if you want these high ticket clients, then you should really consider how you dress. And I first had this panic,
Of
and I'm
course.
like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't wear jeans. Oh
Yeah.
no. And then I'm like, you know what? She is totally not my ideal client.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
totally don't want to work with her.
Well, like
For
this is the
fuss.
this is the thing, right? The shiny object, people telling us is a test, these little micro tests of really leaning in to what we know is true and what the vision
Mhm.
is, and really being that authentic self. And Leah, like you have such a confident, I know who I am presence. Like I pick up on that from you right away. You're just like, this is
Thank
it.
you.
No bullshit. This is where I'm at, and here's what I'm doing. And we have to figure things out as we go. And it's kind of good to get comments like that because they make us audit or check in where
Yes,
we
it
are
definitely did.
with it, right? And like for me, I'd way rather have a copywriter in jeans and a t-shirt than somebody who is dressed in a suit or something, because it's more relatable, right?
Yep.
Like I'm basically always in a ponytail and a sweatshirt
Me
when I
too.
can
Me
be.
too.
So, I want to work with somebody in that same vibe, because then we're already going to remove some get to know. We can get to know each other a bit quicker that way, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I'm not necessarily comfortable talking to fancy business people because I feel out of place. I'm like,
Mhm, mhm,
I'm never going to go to an office and wear heels. I'm never
mhm,
going to wear
mhm.
heels, period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My heel days are over too.
Yeah. Like even when I had to wear heels for work, I was like the lowest heel you could possibly get. They were pretty much, not heels. So
So this is it. So showing up as your authentic self, being certain about your offers. Where are you meeting these people that you can do these trades with? Like that's a really smart way to leverage as a startup, and get to know people, like you said, maybe build a bit of a community, practice your craft on different business owners, all of that. So where are you hanging out?
Facebook groups,
Yeah,
honestly.
cool.
I'm just
Yeah.
in Facebook groups. I recently made my Facebook profile public.
Mhm.
And I have groups of people that see certain things. So like I didn't know that you could do this, but you could set them
Yeah.
up so you have like close friends,
Uh-huh.
acquaintances, business contacts, whatever. So you can click on who sees it. So that's been really good because I've had a
Uh-huh.
lot of responses on just my personal profile.
Yeah.
And I have a group. It's not a big group, but I have a group.
Okay.
Trying to grow that, but all things take time.
Yeah.
So I just post in groups, and if I need like help with something, I just say, "Hey, is there
Okay.
anybody who wants to collaborate?"
Mhm.
I actually have a service provider collaboration sheet that I've been working on, a networking sheet that people can add their information to, like as I do my
Mhm.
networking calls,
Mhm.
and I collaborate with them. We put it on the sheet, so this is what they do, so anybody who has
Yeah.
access to that sheet that I've spoken to
Yeah.
can pull somebody off there. They need an OBM, okay, cool.
Yeah.
They can go to my sheet and say, okay, this was vetted by Leah, so
Yeah.
she's probably pretty good, or was she trustworthy? Well, I'll mesh well with her
Right.
because I meshed well with her, so
So you're creating like a Rolodex, a directory
pretty
of
much.
services. Yeah. And in that way, you're leading a group together and,
Yeah,
creating your own community of people that have come through you, which is really, really beautiful.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like the networking calls. I was doing them a lot for a while. I was
Sure.
having probably 2 or 3 a day
Oh,
all week, and it
yeah.
got so overwhelming. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I need to hone in my schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
And I focused on calls on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, we get into something new and we're like super excited. What?
Right.
You want to go all the way down that rabbit hole. And then you're like, oh
Yep.
shit, I went too far.
Right. And you're like, oh my
Peel it
gosh, I have
back.
calls all the time. I
Yeah.
haven't done any of my other work,
Yeah.
and my kids are like being crazy.
Yeah. As a kid. So 3 kids at home,
Mhm.
homeschooling. So you're working in the mornings, at the end of the day, throughout the day, in all those pockets of time,
Yep.
and not losing your mind necessarily.
I make sure that I take I was losing my mind, and
Yeah.
then I started saying, okay, you know what? Sunday or Saturday or Sunday
Mhm.
is I am not going to work it all day.
Mhm.
Depends on the week, depends on my husband's schedule. Like, and
Okay.
it's wrestling season for my boys, so
Oh,
we're
wow.
wrestling all weekend. So like that's kind of made me say, okay, I'm taking this day off. I'm not going
Yeah.
to look at my computer. I'm not going to post anything. I'm just going to like let it sit.
Mhm.
So, but leaving 7 a.m. in the morning to go to wrestling all day and coming home at like 5,
Yeah.
that's all consuming, especially
It
with 3 kids because my
is.
husband's been working a lot. So I'm like doing all the things.
Yes. Yeah. Single parenting it, driving around. And the
Yeah.
kids' age range. So you have a toddler who's still napping. So like 2 or 3
Yes.
years
He's two
old.
and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. All the way up to
10.
14,
Yep. 10 and then 14.
10 and 4. So I have a 4.5-year-old and then a 13-year-old stepdaughter. So I have that
Okay.
same
So,
span of age. And then like not only are little kids challenging, but when you're balancing them along with older kids, it's a different dynamic too.
uh, it's
Because
exhausting.
like one of them is almost driving, can go out by themselves, and the other one is still needing mommy, mommy, mommy all day long. So
And the middle one wants to pick fights with both of them.
just for fun. Yeah. Those middle children.
I know. Gosh. I mean,
I'm
it's
the
for
baby.
real.
The two older
Right.
brothers in my family. So yeah, the middle child.
It's definitely the middle child. He's the instigator. I love him to death, but he
Of
definitely
course.
instigates with the big one, and he definitely instigates with the little one.
Yeah. Yeah. So then where do you find time for yourself in all this?
Um, pockets of
Yeah.
time. I'm completely transparent with my kids, and I'm like, I'm gonna lose my temper in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
go and I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna meditate for 5 minutes. I'm gonna
Hmm.
go
Hmm.
and hide in my room.
Yeah.
I need y'all to not bug me.
Yeah.
So, I try to step away when I need to, because
Nice.
it does get overwhelming. It gets
Mhm,
chaotic.
mhm.
Or I'll just like, I used to before the toddler, I would just throw them outside. Say to
Sure.
boys, go
Yeah.
outside.
Go
Just
outside.
go.
Yeah.
Go play
Yeah.
with something. I don't care what you do, go
Yeah.
outside.
Throw sticks, hit rocks,
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
And that was when we had a small yard. Now we
Yeah.
have 8 acres. I'm like, go,
Ah,
go run
yeah.
in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. Go ride the 4-wheeler. Go do something.
Yeah.
So like that's a big help, but I can only really do that when the toddler's sleeping,
Mhm.
or,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
whatever. So, because she is testing all the boundaries and
Oh boy.
doing the
Yeah.
toddler thing,
Yeah.
and,
And a
she
girl. So you have
talks.
2 boys
Two
first and then a
boys
girl.
and
So
a
that's a
little
new
girl.
dynamic too, for sure.
Yes, yes. She is, she's way too smart for her own good.
Mini Leah, watch out.
Yeah. It's like she literally never stops talking, just like me.
Uh-huh.
So it's a lot of noise all day.
A lot of noise. And yeah, I find like the mom noise gets in the brain and can't get out. So, how do you help keep yourself organized in your business so that when you do have those time zones, time blocks where you can jump in and get some stuff done, that you know what to do? Like, I know for me, for a while, the irony, like you mentioned, of being able to write for others, and a little less the same with me, to a certain extent better now as an online business manager, able to organize other people, but feeling a bit chaotic myself. I've really practiced that habit to improve it, so that now when I have a pocket of time, I know just what to do and I execute. And I've been honing that skill for a while, and it's improved. So, like, are you project managing yourself in some way to help with that?
Honestly, I wish I could say yes.
Hmm.
I feel like I waste a lot of time trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to work on? I tried Trello, I tried
Yeah,
Asana,
sure,
I tried
sure,
all these things like
sure.
that, but then I have to deal with keeping up with that,
Yeah, right.
and I
It's its
just,
own.
it's its own animal.
Yeah.
So, what I do find is works well for me when I actually do it is brain dump.
Hmm. Hmm.
I sit down and I'll do a brain dump. I'll do 2 brain dumps. I'll do one for personal, one for business. And then I
Yeah,
go through and I prioritize them,
yeah.
prioritize my tasks. And I even sometimes I go as far as to put how long it should take me
Uh-huh.
on it. And then I have a list. And
Yeah.
then I just go down the list all week. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
When I
Perfect.
do that, I
Hmm.
am so much more productive.
Yeah.
But doing it is another thing, because it's just been chaos. I feel like since Christmas, it's been chaos. We took 3 weeks
Hmm.
off school for Christmas, and my husband was
Hmm.
off work for 3 weeks, and that just
Hmm.
threw everything off, which is okay.
Yeah.
But then we switched wrestling clubs, so now I have to actually take them and stay, when before I would take them and drop them
And
off.
then
So I'd
drop
have
them
the
off.
evenings. So
Hmm.
now I'm out from 5 to 8 every
Hmm.
day, like Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometimes Thursday, like today we have wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't have that time to sit down and have that brain space.
Hmm.
So I'm working on making that brain space for myself to say, okay, maybe it's Sunday, maybe it's the one day that I don't actually work, but maybe
Yeah.
I get my stuff together for the week.
Yeah. Totally.
So I sit down and I brainstorm, I do my brain dump and I organize and I make my lists and I go through my calendar and, write everything down. So I just, that's a work in progress for sure.
Well, and probably not like the sexiest part of your business that you enjoy.
Not at all.
So it's an easier one to procrastinate, even though the value is there
Right.
when you do it, right? I
Yep.
get that for sure.
Yep.
That's, I often say, like, that's why I like, with when it comes to exercise and when I'm going, I like to just show up and be barked at for an hour and told what to do so I don't have to think. But in business, we need to be a bit of our own personal trainer in that way, to at least have a clearer priority and keep us on task. And that helps, like, with the decision fatigue throughout the week, particularly when life's pulling us in so many different directions.
Right. Yes, because the weeks never progress how you expect them to. I
At
mean, just like
all.
last week, I told
Yes.
you we were out of commission
Yeah.
all week with an injured dog and 3 kids down with stomach bug.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Which
was
is
like
just draining.
chaos. I was
Yeah.
exhausted, just trying to juggle all the things. I literally just, I don't even think I did anything for work. I was just
Yeah.
stepped back and I was like, all my client work is done. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to let this week ride.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
surrender, I surrender, white
Right.
flag.
I was
Get me
like,
through it.
I will post on Monday. I will
Yeah,
post when everybody's done. And,
yeah.
I posted a couple things here and there, just kind of being like, hey, I know I'm missing right now, but sorry about that. But I'll be back when my kids are better.
Yeah. Well, we
So
can only hold so much, and it can be quite, yeah, if we try to keep it together like the superwoman thing, it's not a real thing.
no, you've
And
got to just sometimes just be like, okay, I'm not doing anything today.
yeah, yeah, and go with it. And then because I'm such a systems, it's like, okay, we'll just keep track of that and just move that forward, and then we'll come back when the time is there to help with
Yeah.
it.
See, and that's when a list helps me do. And
Yes.
I need to be more consistent with it. I need to get a big planner that has, big spots for the days so that I can
Yeah.
write it down. I just need to do it. I don't know what's holding me back from just doing that.
Well, it's not sexy, and it's that
Right.
resistance, right? And it's also like, yeah, finding a different system that's going to
Yeah.
work. And I build one out in a Google spreadsheet, because I find as a solopreneur, like I don't have a team yet or anything, Asana, Trello, those are good when you have multiple people who need to log in and track and update. So it's more of a communication hub. But when it's just you, whatever is going to be the simplest and cleanest to look at. And I still have, and always will, just a daily planner. And I moved from keeping things by the week to just a running list. And then I'll update with a date and cross off.
See,
So then,
okay. Yes. So that's what I do when I do it. But I always like everybody's always like, oh, you need to get systems in place. You need to get
no,
systems in place. You need to get this. You have to use like everybody tells me that this is not the best way to do it.
yeah,
And I keep coming back to the same way, but I keep
yes,
trying these other ones because
yeah,
everybody says that
yeah,
they're so great. And I'm like, for who? Because they
except
are
for
not working
them.
for me.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? So I was square peg round holing all the time because I had all the answers to how to organize people. And now I'm like, I'm good at organizing people, but I have to help organize them for themselves, not for me.
Yep.
And the book, you could take that to wrestling and have it there with you
Right.
and do a
Like I
brain
don't,
dump there. And there's just, as a writer, probably for you, that sense of like paper and pen and
yes,
just
I
the
love it.
movement and then the crossing off, you touch it, like it's so much more personal and satisfying. Because yeah, there are a million wonderful systems out there, but at the end of the day, it's got to work for the person using them.
Yes.
And
Well, thank you for saying that because I felt like I was crazy. Like I still feel like I'm crazy that okay, this can't be my system because
yeah,
it's so like
yeah,
just disheveled just all over the place.
yeah,
But it's really
yeah.
not all over the place if I do it.
Well, you do
But
it the
it
way
feels
that
like
works best for you, right?
yes, I'm all over it. I'm gonna order a planner today.
I got mine at the dollar store of all things.
Oh, I'll
And
have to check there.
because I go in the rabbit holes, I'm in Canada, so I don't know if our dollar stores are the same, but I go down the rabbit holes like planners. I could shop for planners for the rest of my
Yes,
life.
and every single one I've had is never right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
I've made my own. I even customized this one a little bit.
yep, I've done the same
Um,
thing. And like
oh, cool.
maybe like tonight at wrestling, I'm going shopping for a planner.
Go shopping and check it out, and then let me know. I want to hear what it looks like. We can trade
Okay.
photos with it.
Yes. Yay. Okay.
Yeah, super. We can be accountability buddies.
Awesome. Love it.
And you'll be my accountability buddy for some copywriting, for some
Yes.
writing,
I
because
would
I get,
love to.
like I said, I get a little gargled up. So, Leah, in order to respect our time and our
Oh yeah.
children's needs and all of that, because obviously we're just having such a great conversation.
It's hard to
But
stop.
I want to, and I don't want to stop because it's such a great way to start the day, right? It just,
Right?
man, it fills with sunshine to just really connect with somebody.
Makes you feel human again
Yeah,
after
and to know
being
that
home.
what we're going through, because as a solopreneur, you're spending all this time alone. It's like this
Hmm.
interface with the computer, and it's for me, it fills inside so much. But then you see your husband or your child, and they're just like, oh, they don't get it. But then
Yep.
I can carry glittery energy inside throughout the rest of the day, and it kind
Right.
of bubbles around, right? So
Absolutely.
making time for each other is so good. But I also wanted to just share with the listeners some really cool things that you've done to simplify the business. So I mentioned to you, you have these beautiful photos of yourself in the woods, which is actually your own property, that you're using in your marketing or in your online presence, and that these photos were just taken by a friend.
Yep. Yep. Easy. We literally went out in the yard and I was like, hey, what do you think would look good? And she was
Yeah,
like, well, let's do this. Let's try this. Let's do that. I'm like,
yes,
okay, cool. So we did. And it was fun. We had a good time
totally,
and they were easy. She did
totally
some editing on her phone
fun.
and sent them to me, and that was it. And so now I use them everywhere.
And they're natural, right? So it's
And it's my
really
yard.
you and your authentic vibe, you really showing up as you are. And the power of an image can really like broadcast that energy out. So, again, without overcomplicating things, I want people to hear that there's so many ways you've demonstrated beautifully the power of trading, the power of leverage, of building your own community based on what you're doing, of keeping things simple for yourself and always bringing it back to what's going to work for me and
Yeah.
who do I want to show up as and be known as.
Yeah. I actually have my core values on my wall in front of me right
Well,
now.
let's hear them.
Um, these are just the start of my core values, but my main ones: integrity, honesty, loyalty, collaboration, and reliability.
Beautiful.
So like, I mean, I have them there to remind me. So am I taking an aligned step or not?
Yeah,
Like, is this the right step for me or not? Does it fit those or not?
exactly. You probably had to ask that a lot of times last week.
I don't even know. I don't think I looked at my desk last week. I was just like, I'm just gonna sit here with my kids.
To navigate all that stuff. That's
Yep.
so good. And so, like, how's it going for you? How's business going now? You're a few years
Yeah.
in,
It's
got some good
going.
offers.
Since I started my copywriting, it's probably actually really since I really honed in on what I want to do and who I want to be, it's
Mhm.
only really been about 4 months.
Okay,
But I'm doing great. I have 5 discovery calls within the next week, which is
fantastic.
amazing, and
Congrats.
networking with a bunch of people and
Mhm,
meeting a lot of people like you.
mhm.
And I've really started to offer the copy editing because I really love it.
Cool.
Um, and I also really love like repurposing audio into blog posts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like podcast repurposing, I really love that. But I also allow my clients to just send me voice clips of what they want. So I
Okay,
can hear what their voice is inflecting and what they
right.
really feel about it, things like
Yeah.
that. So like, I think the sky's the limit and it's going to be an amazing year.
So you're super excited now that
I
you've
am.
gained even more clarity
Yes.
on where to go with this. And
Yep.
with that, you're unlocking that receivership ask. I
Right.
desire, I desire to work for myself as a writer and support entrepreneurs, and now I'm ready to receive in these ways with these services.
Yeah. I'm like super excited. I'm calling it all in, talking to all my
Awesome.
angels and looking for
Yes.
signs of that I'm on the right path, and I keep seeing the right path signs. So
Yeah.
it's
That's
limitless.
awesome. Limitless for sure. Fantastic. Well, anything else that you want to drop with our listeners before we wrap
Uh,
up? You've got,
no, just that you like if you want to connect, let me know.
uh-huh,
I'm
uh-huh.
open to it. Just send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever,
Okay.
and check out my book on Amazon. It's a children's book.
Oh,
But
yeah, let's talk about that. You've got a book.
I do. It's called A Boy and His Butterfly, inspired by
Cute.
my kids. It's
Oh,
about a monarch monarch butterfly's journey from egg to butterfly.
okay.
So it's all about metamorphosis and stuff, and it's geared towards K to probably 4th grade,
Okay.
and yeah, it's on Amazon.
And you just did this like when you weren't sleeping?
This is probably 4 years ago now. So
Okay,
this is, I
cool.
think, before I started my business, and I
Mm,
just wrote it. And me and my friend, the one who took pictures,
awesome.
her and I illustrated it, and
At
it
that.
was fun. It was fun, and I have my other one pretty much written. I just haven't gotten there.
Yeah, Yeah, well, books are huge undertakings, so,
Yeah,
that's a real feather in the cap to have something like that under, and a joy project at that is so great, because these days people are pumping out books as part of their brand and growing their business
right.
or their message. And then to be able to just do one for fun,
Yeah,
is, it's a whole
yeah,
other vibe. So
yeah. The next
that's
one's going to
super,
be a
super
girl and
cool.
her earthworm. So
Oh, cute. Oh, great. I can't wait to see it.
yeah, it'll be
Leah,
fun.
such a joy, so much, and I look forward to growing our online relationship,
Yes,
and
definitely.
maybe in person one day, come walk your woods with you. And
Hey, heck yeah. All anytime.
thanks for your time today. Good luck with your big day today.
Thank you. Yes, it's gonna start as soon as we get a hop off. We start school and then off to
Oh,
online more calls and online classes for the kids and
oh
then wrestling.
gosh.
So
Okay. Yeah, this
so
too
thank
shall
you.
pass.
Yes, it will. But it's like, do I want it to? I
Yeah.
mean, I have my littles and they're gonna move out one day. My oldest one's talking about
Mhm.
driving and stuff. I'm like,
Oh
oh,
gosh. Yeah.
I don't want you to drive.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I
Totally.
do, because then I don't have to take you anywhere. So
It's like that bittersweet, but they'll always be your kids.
right, right,
They'll
true.
always be your kids. We always need our parents.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited and excited to hear it come out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I'll
we'll
let you know as
definitely
soon
keep
as
in touch.
yeah, you bet. Awesome. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You.